All right, fellas, let's talk about the last tournament of 2015 for me. I qualified for regionals, pretty confident that I was going to. I saw that it was on the Potomac, very excited about that because my brother has a house right there on the Potomac. So it was, you could save a little bit of money staying at a family member's house, but the Potomac was another tidal fishery like the James, and it was unknown water for me. I'd never fished a tournament on the James or on the Potomac before. So to set the stage for this year's regional, you have to go back to last year's regional on the James. After day one on the James, I had a great day, was in 4th place. Remember, top 12 go out the final day, and only the top 6 get a seat for the All-American. So you're shooting for that top 6. So I was very confident after day 1. Everybody fishes day 2. I went back to my regular location. High tide killed me. Ended up only finishing in 16th place. So I missed it last year. So was very motivated to make the All-American this year, even though it was on another tidal fishery. So I go to the Potomac, and doing my homework as I'm coming up to the Potomac, I'm finding out that it's not bad fishing conditions. It's people up there that are guides and the best guides on the water. They're calling it epic bad fishing conditions. Worst he's ever seen. He grew up on the water. So fishing was tough. Fishing was going to be tough, which, tougher the tournament, easier to win, they say. So one thing I learned real quick is that the tides on the Potomac run differently than they do on the James. James is a lot skinnier, so the tide, when it runs, it's like somebody pulled the bathtub cork. I mean, it really whooshes hard. Potomac is so much wider. The only time you can get a really good pull is if you're in a small, like if there's a bridge abutment or something, and the water's pulling out of there, you'll get a good pull there. But a lot of times what you'll get is, as soon as you're at high tide and the water starts pulling, you don't see it. But about halfway down the hill from the tides, that's when you'll get the most tide pull. But it doesn't last for long. And then as soon as you get past that, it just kind of mellows out again, and there's no great tide pull. I mean, it's going out, but it's very hard to tell, especially for a new guy like myself. So epic tough conditions, had to learn a new tide mechanism. So out I go looking for my active area, always looking for that active area. My brother and I fished 150 miles of the Potomac. We went from so far above DC, we were above the old RLK Stadium, and we went so far south that we were almost to the 301 bridge. We went down to Port Tobacco. Crazy. We fished everywhere and only found one creek that seemed to be active. So I'm telling you, after 3.5 days of pre-fishing, that was a little bit disconcerting that I only had one area where I thought I could catch some fish, and I didn't have a whole bunch of confidence in that. So first day, blasted off, screamed down to the creek that I thought was on, and fished a railroad bridge right away. About 20 minutes into it, I caught a short, and then right away I caught a small keeper, probably a 13.5 incher. 12 inches is the limit on the Potomac. So go back up as far as I can up into this creek, and there's a marina in the back, and started fishing that marina. Actually, that's a lie. I started fishing a cut next to the marina and didn't catch anything. So I said, well, I didn't fish that marina. Let's go take a look at it. Long story short, when I pulled out of that marina 3 hours later, I had 13.5 pounds, 13.7, matter of fact. Figured that was a pretty good bag. Only had 4 fish. I had a real nice 6-pounder. So after day 1, 5th place, very excited. Had that thing in the back of my head. Oh, this feels like the James River. And ran back up there the next day. What I was doing is I was throwing that baby Denny Brower structure jig, black and blue again. That seemed to be the color because the water was a little dingier up there, and you had to let it soak to get my bites. I wasn't getting a lot of bites. So ran back up to that marina, fished hard, really soaked it. Threw KVD finesse through the jig, threw an Ocho, Cinco type stick bait. Not one bite. Not a bite. Tried to shake it off. Fished some other docks in the area. Tried to fish some lily pads on the way out. Fished some docks on the way out. Had a real nice current pulling out. Nothing. All day long, nothing. Day 2, I zeroed. I can't remember the last time I zeroed, but that hurt because it just completely blew me out of the water. So I ended up finishing the tournament in 42nd place, but that's what a zero will do to you. So that's title fishing. Here one day, gone tomorrow. Just very painful, and but I'm slowly going over what happened day 2 and day 1 and the pre-fishing, and you have to learn from days like that, and if you don't learn from it, then you're not going to progress on. So anyway, so that was the last tournament of the year. Trying to decide what I'm going to fish next year. I understand that the Shenandoah division is going to be on Kerr Reservoir for the regional, so I'm kind of interested in the Shenandoah division, but we'll probably still fish the Piedmont just in pickup fashion. So so if you're fishing in either one of those divisions, I'll see you out there. 2016.